Across West Africa, European slave ships wait along the coast, buying captives to transport across the Atlantic Ocean. Far inland, communities like Awka continue to live by their traditions, customs, and systems of justice. Yet for some people, a local judgment could become the first step into slavery. It often began with an accusation. A person might be accused of theft, witchcraft, causing misfortune, or breaking important community laws. When there was no clear evidence or witness to prove the truth, the case was taken before elders and spiritual leaders. The community gathered in the village square. Families watched with fear and hope. The elders believed that hidden truths could be revealed through spiritual means. To settle difficult cases, they sometimes ordered a ritual known as the Ordeal water test. The ritual water was carefully prepared with prayers and sacred substances according to tradition. People believed that spiritual powers would protect the innocent and expose the guilty. Refusing to take the test could itself be seen as a sign of guilt. When the accused underwent the ordeal, elders carefully observed the outcome. Every reaction and sign was interpreted according to traditional beliefs. Once the elders announced their decision, the verdict was usually final. There was no appeal and very little chance of reversing the judgment. For some people found guilty of serious offenses, the punishment went beyond fines or public shame. They could lose their freedom, become servants, be expelled from their community, or be sold into slavery. A person who was once a respected member of the village could suddenly become a captive. Local trading networks connected villages to larger markets. Captives were handed over to traders and moved from one place to another. What started as a village judgment gradually became part of a much larger system. As captives were transported toward the coast, they eventually reached slave markets where European traders were waiting. British, Portuguese, Dutch, French, and other slave merchants purchased men, women, and children brought from inland communities. At these markets, families were separated and lives were changed forever. The accused person who once stood before elders in a village square now stood before foreign buyers who knew nothing about their story. To the traders, they were no longer individuals with families and histories. They had become merchandise. The next stage was often the most frightening. Captives were forced onto slave ships bound for distant lands across the Atlantic. Many would never see their homes again. Some died during the journey, while others survived only to face years of forced labor in foreign plantations. The story of the Ordeal water verdict reminds us that the Atlantic slave trade was connected to many systems and events. In some cases, local accusations, traditional judgments, and punishments became pathways into slavery. What began as a verdict in a village could end with a person being carried across an ocean in chains. It is a powerful reminder of how justice, belief, power, and trade became linked during one of the darkest periods in human history. For historical accuracy, it is important to note that not every ordeal verdict automatically led to enslavement. However, in parts of West Africa during the height of the Atlantic slave trade, accusations of crimes, witchcraft, debt, sacrilege, or other offenses could result in punishment, exile, loss of freedom, or sale into slavery. Some local authorities and merchants exploited judicial systems to supply captives to slave traders.